As well as being able to reuse code that you've written yourself, we're also able to reuse a vast array of code that's available to us within the Perl modules. And some of these are standard models that come with the Perl installation. And these are available to most people using Perl. Other modules are available to people who have specifically downloaded these, probably from the CPAN website. Now, a module is a step further than subroutines. A module is a way of encapsulating not only a single procedure, but a whole set of related procedures and functionality, variables, and so on. And these are persistent, whereas with a subroutine, the program calls a subroutine and then gets one result back from it, the return value. With using a module, we're able to have a whole other namespace where we can store variables. We can call what's called class methods or subroutines contained within that module, and we're able to encapsulate a whole different range of functionality within one general group. Object-oriented programming is outside the scope of this course, but you do need to be able to use the standard Perl modules effectively if you're going to really be making use of Perl. So let's have a look at how we can make use of these modules by returning to one of our previous scripts. And we're going to look in the document root here of the local web server we have installed, and we're going to look back at the post Perl script that we wrote earlier on. Now, if we look down here at this bit of code that processes the data from the form, when we were looking at it before, I mentioned there is an easier way to do it. And that's what we've come to now. Instead of having to carry out all these steps ourselves, there's a very handy module called the CGI module, which encapsulates a lot of the functionality that we need in order to carry out these common CGI processing tasks. So, for instance, let's take a look at a very small example before we look at processing the form. Instead of the content type line that we're used to printing out, we can actually let a CGI object handle this for us. Now, in order to make use of the CGI module, all we need to do is say use CGI. And if this module has been installed and is available to Perl, then this will work fine. The CGI is one of the standard modules, and it's very, very likely that you already have that installed. The use keyword here allows us to access all of the properties and subroutines and so on contained within the CGI module. Before we do that though, we have to actually create a new instance of a CGI object. You don't have to worry too much about the way in which this works under the hood of the Perl engine. Let's just look at what we do to make it happen. We're going to call our CGI object, and how we're going to create that is by using one of the methods contained within the CGI module, and this is called new. This is the way we create a new object from the module. Now that we have our object, we can use it to automate certain common tasks. For instance, instead of printing out that content type line, we can actually type CGI object, and then we're using the same operator here that we used to create the object. That's a little arrow sign there, formed by a minus and a greater than sign. And then we're going to ask for the header method, a method is simply like a subroutine that is attached to a particular package, and the package in this case is contained within the CGI module. The object that we've created is like an instance of that particular package of functionality. And then we pass certain arguments to that header method. The type is text HTML. Let's remove this line, and we're able to use the CGI object to automate that particular task for us.